way down to the shoreline. Now, there's still a lot of areas we can't see. This is the area of Pacific Palisades. That's Temescal Canyon. That's PCH right there. That would be basically on what we'd call the southeast side of the Palisades, and then next starts Santa Monica, right? But everything is lost. That's the village in there. I think we can show you that. There's a few structures that made it in the village, the Palisades village, but a lot of them were just lost. Complete destruction. The fire went through here and took out just about everything. I tell you, we were astonished. We came around the hill out of Van Nuys Airport, and the smoke had just sort of drifted out to the west, and it allowed us to see this for the first time. And Marcel and I were talking. The only thing we've ever seen that compares to this would be pictures of Paradise, and that we know how bad that fire was. So this is going to take forever to recover from. Now, in this area, we know we're not hearing about injuries, which is incredible, and we're not hearing about fatalities. The fatalities we heard about were the Eaton fire up in the Pasadena area. But can you imagine what it must have been like when the fire went down through here and took out every single house, and everybody scrambling to get out, and no one that we know of seriously injured or killed? That's a miracle in and of itself. But, you know, it's heart-wrenching. I look at this, and it's almost hard to believe.
It's hard to look at and hard to believe. You're right. I've never seen anything like it. It's just incredible.
And you got to feel for those people. And, you know, what happens is all these people have to find a place to stay. And it happened to me in the Woolsey fire. And I couldn't live at home. And then I couldn't find a hotel. Seriously, I had to drive all the way up almost to Palmdale to find a place to live and then drive back to go to work. And all these people have to go someplaces, so all the hotels are sell out. And this is going to take years to recover. This isn't going to recover in any short time. We'll be flying over this years from now, and you'll see some homes that are being rebuilt, like we saw in the big Malibu fire back in, I think it was 92. And then some homes, they didn't have the insurance and they weren't able to rebuild. Another thing that has been happening in the housing market, insurance rates have gone up so much. Mine went up like 5 times. That a lot of people couldn't afford good insurance. They had to have insurance in a lot of cases in order to keep their loan, but they'd go to Fair Plan and their home would only be maybe half or 1/3 insured. And in that case, you've lost all your equity in your home. So this is heart-wrenching. This is going to affect people, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people in this area. And like I said, it's going to take years and years to recover. This is a complete demolishment of this area of Pacific Palisades. It is basically all just wiped off the map.
Unreal.
And Scott, did you hear the CAL FIRE spokesperson talking about how they assess damage? He mentioned they include vehicles in their damage assessment. Does that change anything from your perspective? I mean, when you look at this devastation, it's clearly over 1,000 structures, I would say, right?
Oh, yeah. Initially, the 1,000, you know, sometimes these numbers come out, and we get them, and then we really try and confirm them, and we'll say 1,000 structures, maybe 300 homes. That's what I was reporting earlier this morning, because we really hadn't seen it, and it's not the fire department and the police department's job to go out there and start counting. But now that we've got to look at this, 1,000 is probably a conservative estimate. I wouldn't be surprised if it's much more than that. And then I did hear in the press conference something about the biggest natural disaster ever, and I thought to myself, wow, it's got to be pretty big to be bigger than the Northridge earthquake, because, you know, the Santa Monica Freeway collapsed, the 14 collapsed, an apartment building in the Northridge area collapsed and killed a lot of people, and everything in the San Fernando Valley had to be rebuilt. But I do believe this is going to be a bigger disaster as far as the cost to recover from this. Certainly not as far as lives are concerned, because I don't remember the number, but it might have been 12 to 15 that were lost in that apartment building on Tampa, I believe, up in Northridge after the Northridge earthquake. But as far as recovering from this and the price tag, you know, obviously in the billions, we'll find out how many billions, but I really feel for the people, because a lot of these people may not recover from this.
Yeah, Scott, you were referring to LA Fire Chief Kristen Crowley calling the Palisades fire the most destructive natural disaster in the history of LA. She did say that in the news conference. Is there any way, Scott, that you can focus in on the village area of Palisades?